Honey, when I tell you it is a sad day on the earth, it is a sad day on the earth where you cannot even say black boys deserve to grow up too. You cannot say that in America, okay? Because you will get canceled. Miss Rachel is facing a lot of backlash, okay? Also, Nancy Grace, she has been speaking about Nolan Wells, and she even told us that so many people have said horrible things to her and threatened her as well. And we know who it come from. Who do y'all think it's coming from? The white magas. Okay. So I got some video clips to show you guys. I want to react to. Then I'm going to give my commentary, and I want to know your thoughts. What have you feel about this? All right. So let me bring this up here so you guys can see some of this commentary that's going around social media. Rachel, they are canceling her because she says black boys deserve to grow up too. Ain't that sad? Ain't that, if that ain't the R word, if that's not racism, I don't know what is. Okay, that's just sad.
I don't know about you, but Miss Rachel is no longer allowed in our household. I think most of you know why. And now St. John's University is conducting a study on selective humanitarian messaging in children's media.
Did you hear that? Press 1 if you guys can hear that. They dislike her so much for doing that they are conducting a study on her. Remember what they did to Nolan Wells' mom? They are conducting an investigation on Nolan Wells' mom as well. This is what these people do. They don't like what you say. They don't like your beliefs. They don't like your politics. So they band together and they try to dox you. They review bomb you. And if that doesn't work, they try to get the state to investigate you. This is what they do. This is their pattern. So I don't want to hear people say, well, I don't want to get into politics and, you know, how y'all do. No, they judge you on their politics. Y'all can judge on politics. Because when we talked about that TLC, y'all black folks was the main one. We shouldn't judge people on politics. Why? They do it all the time. They will cancel you if you say black boys deserve to grow up. Y'all better wake the heck up. Politics is, it controls your livelihood. What are you able to do? What you cannot do, your laws. It regulates you. Politics regulates you. So come on now, but let me continue to play.
On Miss Rachel and perceptions of victimhood.
Are we talking about the anomalies, like a Miss Rachel, who is now getting death threat and unfollowed just for saying black boys deserve to live? Because one ain't enough. You got to believe the history and not the anomaly. And if you look at how the actions have turned out, people like Miss Rachel are the anomaly. And all she want to do is educate kids. She said black boys deserve to live. And we look at that like, shout out to Miss Rachel, that ain't heroic, nigga. That should be the standard. You know how many people, you know how many black people died singing those same sentiments? What good nature. Or they get online and they start talking about code switching. We know what code switching is. If we know what it is, that's good enough for us. Fuck them. You care too much. They can't take anything away from us. It's not to give away. They can't steal code switching. They can't steal it. They don't have to do it. They're liars. They're living a lie. They're frauds. They're thieves. Why are you wasting your time on liars and thieves and niggas who are frauds? This is the point of MAGA. This is the point of Turning Point USA to reinstate the tenets of white supremacy under the umbrella of Christian nationalism and the political power of the Republican Party. Because illiteracy aids in bigotry. This is why there's a push for anti-intellectualism. Because at the core of racism, at the core of colorism, misogyny, and homophobia is ignorance. And they're directly threatened by the educated populace of America. What does Miss Rachel do? Educate. So somebody who has dedicated their life to education and also taken on education and also is an educated person understands the ignorance of racism, colorism, misogyny, homophobia. Because at the core of it, it is ignorance. What they say, the truth will set you free. Knowledge is power. The information is the elevation.
That's right.
Yeah.
All these cliches, and they're cliches because they fucking true. And they're threatened by the educated populace of America. They're threatened by the history of Black Americans and Black American intellectuals. Otherwise, why is there a push to ban our literature specifically?
That's right.
Why? Where's the good nature? I'll say this, since we want to talk about the hair. Are y'all still going to Black-owned beauty supply stores? Are y'all still supporting your brothers and sisters in that respect? Are we still finding Black nail techs?
Woo! I had to stop right there. That Black brother can talk. That Black brother was spitting facts. A Black brother. Give it up for our king, y'all. If y'all enjoyed that press too, I got more to review. But I just have to give it up for that Black man. Give it up for the Black brothers, honey, that are using their platform to speak up. Okay? Versus talking about some bull crap. Let's go.
To those who are going to comment they can't watch the show anymore because of the support, no worries.
I know that's right, girl. I know that's right.
To be a Miss Rachel and Bluey household. I don't even got kids. It's about to be me and the damn dogs watching it on every device, on the TV, on an iPad. Girl, we got you. Don't even worry about it, Rachel. Girl. Don't even worry.
Stop letting your children watch Miss Rachel.
Miss Rachel has spent years teaching children kindness. Now she's a villain because she asked a difficult question. You don't have to agree with Miss Rachel. Asking whether race can influence the way a case is viewed shouldn't be an outrageous question. Rachel didn't insult Black people. She didn't attack families. She raised the question whether a Black teenager would have been treated differently under different circumstances. Conversation people have been having across America for decades. Suddenly the same people that scream about free speech are telling her to stay in her lane. Want celebrities to use their platforms. Now Miss Rachel actually does it in response to stick to singing nursery rhymes. That's selective outrage. If you think Miss Rachel is wrong, explain why. Bring facts, bring evidence. Let's have a conversation. Don't act like asking uncomfortable questions makes somebody hateful. Maybe the real question here isn't about Miss Rachel at all. It is about whether we're willing to hear viewpoints we don't like without trying to cancel the people who said them do better.
So this is just into the news. We know Miss Rachel. Miss Rachel is now weighing in on Nolan Wells' case. Yes, that Miss Rachel, the one you know. She posted this. She said, "We know the investigation and everything that followed would have been different if Nolan Wells were white and his friends were Black. Nolan and his family deserve justice." Now, whether you agree with her or not, one thing is clear. This case is reaching far beyond Mississippi. The more attention it gets, the more questions people are asking. And that's why we are covering it. Not to reach conclusions, to keep following the facts until there are answers. Check us out. The Don Lemon Show on YouTube, on Substack, and everywhere you get your streaming.
Miss Rachel didn't leave her lane. You were just hoping that she held the same racist beliefs that you do.
Woo! Talk about it, white woman. Talk about it. Ain't that white woman telling the truth? Press 5. They want all the clear people to feel the same racist viewpoint they do. Yes, I'm so glad white women are speaking up.
Cannot call yourself a child of Christ and then decide that compassion for people, especially children, stops at the border, at skin color, or at religion. So apparently Miss Rachel can teach your children empathy, but she better not display it publicly, at least not to brown kids, Muslim kids, Palestinian kids, kids in detention centers, and definitely not Black kids, right? Miss Rachel stated what I have been saying this whole entire time. We know the investigation and everything that followed would have been completely different.
That's right.
If Nolan Wells had been white and his friends had been Black.
Thank you.
Nolan's family.
Thank you. White people even know this. Of course they know it. Of course they know it. A lot of them want to act different, but of course they know it. Man. Y'all need to comment more in the comment section. We need engagement now.
Deserves justice. And apparently telling the truth about that double standard was enough to receive a ton of backlash. It's heartbreakingly obvious who gets believed, whose stories get pushed, who gets a detailed and thorough investigation, and who gets attacked, questioned, and pushed to the back. After all that hate and backlash, she responded with a few words that should never be controversial. Black boys deserve to grow up. In what world would that make anybody irate or upset? It doesn't matter what side of the fence you stand on. You don't believe that black boys should grow up? People telling her to stay in her lane, stop being political, go back to singing children's songs. And I'm not really sure what you guys expected from someone who literally built her entire career on helping children. Did you think she only helped white children? Miss Rachel is not some random influencer that found out that toddlers create views. She has graduate degrees in music education and early childhood education. Her content is research-backed and actually made for speech, language, learning, and social emotional skills. She actually started creating it after she failed to find true resources to help her son with his speech delay. You guys make every single stereotypical excuse there is when it comes to adults already. Black adults, brown adults, immigrants, it doesn't matter. Any dehumanizing thing you could say to help you sleep better at night, knowing they're not treated equally. But how do you justify not giving a fuck about their children? How can you see a brown child bomb, starving, in a detention center?
Oh, that's horrible. That's horrible.
So ass backwards that's the type of.
It's painfully clear. It's everywhere. And it's hard to fucking advocate for anything else.
Black boys deserve to grow up. Can you imagine being in a country that's so ass backwards that's the type of statement that's going to get you canceled? That's exactly what's happening to Miss Rachel right now. Black boys deserve to grow up, and she's taken a stance on the Nolan Wells case. And white America is coming for her, gunning for her big time. It's giving all lives matter vibes. I don't understand how we can say something as innocuous, as mild, as reasonably tolerant, as logically factual as black boys deserve to grow up, and people in this country have a problem with it. This is exactly what brought us Donald Trump. This is the world in which we live in, and sometimes it just knocks me on my ass. I understand this is what's out there. I see it. But this is so disappointing. This is the country we have, and this is the type of stance that white people, some white people, but a lot of white people, want to take. Grow the fuck up.
Woo! Thank you, white man. I appreciate white men like this and white women like this. Thank y'all, good white people. Okay, my goodness. What did you guys think about that? Do you guys want me to focus more on certain content like that? If you guys do, press 3. But where y'all at? Where are y'all at? I'm going to tell you how I feel about this because I got something to say and I want my voice to be heard. But when I tell you, I sat with this for a whole day before I even pressed record, y'all. Because a part of me was like, Gigi, don't do it, girl. Don't do it. Let somebody else carry this one. But then I remember who the fuck I was and who y'all was too. So look, Miss Rachel. Yeah, that Miss Rachel, the one with the pink shirt and the gentle voice and can you say a banana, lady? She looked at Nolan Wells' case. An 18-year-old black boy goes on a boat July 4th ends up dead with an autopsy that can't even rule out for foul play. And she said 4 words, honey. Black boys deserve to grow up. And honey, the white America, the white mega done lost their whole entire minds. They told her to stay in your lane. They told her to sing nursery rhymes. They told her to shut up and entertain toddlers and keep her mouth closed about dead black kids. They unfollowed her by the thousands, okay? I'm talking about death threats in her inboxes, review bombing her apps. Honey, they got St. John University doing a whole study now on selective messaging in children's media, basically studying her for daring to say a black boy shouldn't die. And Nancy Grace, yeah, that Nancy Grace, honey, the woman who built her whole career dragging killers on national TV, she started covering Nolan Wells on YouTube, right? And guess what? Death threats to her. Yep. The same people who scream about free speech every time somebody gets banned for dropping hard R's on Twitter. The same people, they telling children entertainer to shut up and a TV prosecutor to back off. All because 2 white women looked at a dead black boy and said, something ain't right here. Make it make sense, y'all. Make it make sense. I need y'all to make it sense in the comment section. Honey, stay in your lane. That's what they telling these white women. Go back to singing. Stick to kids' content. How dare you speak up for black people? You're white. Stay in your lane. And I want every single one of y'all to hear what they're really saying, what they really saying, because they don't say this to everybody. They don't tell Joe Rogan to stay in his lane when he talks about those vaccines. Do they tell Joe Rogan to stay in his lane? Do they get on Joe Rogan for talking about politics? No. Hell, Joe Rogan is up there with Trump. They don't say nothing about that. They don't tell Elon Musk to stick to cars when he talks about genocide. And Elon Musk is up there with Trump as well. He's very political, but they don't tell him to stick to damn cars. They don't tell random white men with podcasts to shut up when they got opinions on every goddamn thing. But a woman, a kid's educator, says black boys deserve to grow up, and suddenly she gotta shut up. She gotta be quiet. Suddenly, oh, she's overstepped. Suddenly, the same people who wave free speech and flags at rally, those same exact people, they got a volume knob for her. Turn that shit all the way down. And Nancy Grace been covering true crime for decades, y'all. I'm talking about murderers, kidnappers, disappearances. That's her whole brand. But the minute she points her camera at Nolan Wells and say, both cannot be true about the phone data and the Life 360 data, the minute she says those cannot be mutual exist in truth, now she's getting death threats too. That's not about lanes. That's not about staying in your place. Honey, that is about control. They want to control everything. They want to silence everybody that don't agree with them. That's the agenda that they on. That's about speak when we tell you to speak. We tell you to speak about. And never stand next to a black family demanding justice. And if you do that, then they're going to call you a race baiter. You're a race baiter if you're speaking up for black people. Honey, that's selective outrage. And we know selective outrage. We've been knowing it, honey. It's the cousin of all lives matter and the grandbaby of states' rights. It's the same playbook, different decade, the same white mega tears. Now, let me tell you why they really mad, okay? And this is the part some of y'all might miss if you're not paying attention. Miss Rachel ain't some random influencer who found out toddlers get views. Honey, she got a graduate degree, music education, early childhood education. Her content is research backed. She built her whole thing because her own son had a speech delay and she couldn't even find real resources to help him. She's an educated woman. And at the core of MAGA, at the core of Turning Point USA, at the core of this whole Christian nationalist reboot of white supremacy, honey, is anti-intellectualism. Yeah, they want you to be stupid and dumb. That's why they want these girls to be pregnant by 9th grade, and they do not want women to get a college education. They want you to be married by 18, stuck with your husband, okay? Creating kids. That's all they want you to be their breeder, okay? That's it. They don't want you to be smart. They don't want you to think for yourself. That's why they're trying to take away women votes. You haven't heard that rhetoric in Turning Point USA? Y'all better get some whereabout. You better know your enemies and what they doing. I'm checking on my enemies every day. Hell, honey, they need you to be dumb. They need you to be ignorant because ignorance is a fuel for racism. Ignorance is the fuel for colorism, misogyny, homophobia, all of it, okay? Hello? Man. So when an educated white woman who's literally dedicated her life to teaching looks at a case where a black boy dies suspicious and the investigation stinks, and she says this would be different if he was white, honey, they can't call her stupid. They can't call her uninformed. They cannot call her a race baiter in the way they call us. So what do? They tell her to shut up and sing because an educated woman is a threat to them. Knowledge is power. Information is elevation, and they know that. That's why they're banning our books. They're banning black books. That's why they are attacking our schools. That's why they mad at children educators for understanding that compassion don't stop at skin color. And Nancy Grace, she's educated too, baby. I'm talking about law degree. She's a prosecutor. She knows how to read evidence. She knows when a story don't add up. And when she looked at Nolan Wells' case, undetermined cause of death, missing organs, neck tissue gone, bone data that don't even match. Oh, she knew it. She knew big time. Okay? They cannot call her uninformed either. They cannot. So they threaten her. They threaten by educated. They are threatened by educated people, period. Now, here's the part that made me pause. Honey, here's the part that made me pause. One of the commenters, and I'm going to say who because I strip voices. I don't echo them, honey. But one of them said something that stuck with me, y'all. They said, Miss Rachel, honey, she is an exception, okay? The white person who speaks up and gets praised for saying what black people been saying for centuries. And honey, that's right. That's absolutely right. Because you know how many black people died seeking those same sentiments. How many black mothers cried on TV begging for justice and got called an angry black woman for doing so. How many black fathers asked for answers and got called a race baiter. How many of us said black boys deserve to grow up and got treated like we said something that was so controversial. But when Miss Rachel says it, when a white woman with a gentle voice and 14 million subscribers said, now it's news. Now it's a headline. Now we're doing studies on it. Now white America sending death threats to children entertainers because she dared to humanize a dead black boy. Okay? And how long and how many times do we have to fight to be seen as human to these people? Because they did not even want to see us as human. They saw us as animals. Honey, that tells you everything. That tells you they don't even want, honey, they don't even want allies whispering the truth. They don't want nobody whispering the truth. They want total silence. They want total erasure. They want total compliance. And Nancy Grace, honey, they used to love her. Okay. That's why she got to get on a black man Diddy so hard. Okay. She got to make up for speaking up for Nolan Wells. When she was dragging black defendants to hell on TV court, remember that? When she was calling black mothers unfit on national TV, do y'all remember that? Honey, they ate that up, didn't they? Didn't they? Let's not forget Nancy Grace got a history too now. Come on now. They couldn't get enough of Nancy Grace doing that type of shit. But the minute she turns that same eye on a black boy in Mississippi and says the facts don't add up, the facts don't match, now she gonna have to die soon. That's the message. That's the whole message right there. You cannot speak up about black people as long as you tear them down. Okay? You can speak up. You can speak up about black people. You can talk about black people all you want, but as long as you tearing their ass down, the minute you defend black people, the minute you stand with them, oh, you gonna get canceled. Okay? You gonna get canceled. You gonna get threatened. Okay? I ain't lying. But here's what Miss Rachel said back. Okay? This is what she responded to. And when I read it, honey, I felt it in my chest. She said, counsel me. Yes, she did. She said, counsel me. That's nothing compared to what my integrity is. I know that's right, Miss Rachel. She told those white people to counsel her. Okay. She says her career will never mean more than standing up for kids. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. And I don't even know her religion, but whatever religion she worship and whatever God she worship, honey, sign me up for that. I want to know more about the walk that she's on. Because these so-called Christians, I got so much hate in their heart, I ain't going for that. Okay? Y'all, when I read that right there, I had to get up and walk around my kitchen. Do you hear what I'm saying? Because in a world where everybody is selling their soul for a brand deal, where influencers won't even say Black Lives Matter because they're scared of losing the white demographic, while creators, they out here tap dancing around the truth so they don't get demonetized. This woman said, counsel me. Yeah, she said it. She looked at death threats. She looked at losing millions. And she looked at her whole brand, gentle, educator, harmless. And she said, nah, my integrity costs more. And some of y'all in my comments right now, honey, some of y'all probably thinking, well, she white. She gonna be fine. And maybe she will. Maybe she got the privilege to bounce back. But that ain't the point. The point is she don't have to say nothing. She could have kept singing about shapes and colors and collected her damn check. She chose this. She chose the hard thing. She chose truth over comfort. And Nancy Grace, honey, she been getting death threats her whole career. That's Tuesday for her. But the fact that they are ramping up now over this case, that tells you they scared, baby. They scared. They scared that if the prosecutor and the preschool teacher both saying, nah, this stinks, then regular folks gonna start asking questions too. And honey, that deserves my respect. That deserves my protection. That deserves every single one of us with a platform to stand next to them and say, we see y'all, we see you, and we got you. Okay? So here's what I need my people to do to understand. And I'm not asking, I'm telling you. This ain't about just Miss Rachel. This ain't just about Nancy Grace. This ain't just about Nolan Wells. Okay? This is about what happens when you decide that compassion is political. When you decide that Black boys deserve up, Black boys deserve to grow up is a controversial statement. When you decide that kids educator and a TV prosecutor can't also be human beings with a conscience, honey, they coming for Miss Rachel because they scared. They scared that if the nursery rhyme lady won't stay quiet, then who will? They coming for Nancy Grace because they scared that if the prosecutor won't look away, then regular folks won't either. They scared that if a white woman starts saying this ain't right about how black boys die, then the whole machines break down because the machine depends on silence. It depends on y'all being distracted with all this goofy shit. It depends on that. The machine depends on good white people looking away. The machine depends on us being too tired, too traumatized, too used up to fight back. And Miss Rachel, honey, she broke that code. Nancy Grace broke that code. They looked at the machine and said, oh, nah. So here's what we do, honey. I need y'all to share this post, flood their comments with love. Let the algorithm know the truth don't get buried on our watch. When they tell you to stay in your lane, remember, justice ain't got no lane. Truth ain't got no lane. And your voice is a weapon. Use it. Stop being surprised, y'all. Stop being surprised when they show you who they are. They told Miss Rachel to sing kids songs when a black boy lay dead with a missing organ. Can you imagine that? A black boy dead with missing organs. And a white woman looks and they tell her, turn around and sing a song. Don't look, just sing. They told Nancy Grace to back off while a family is begging for answers. They will tell you to be quiet, expect it, prepare for it, and speak anyway. Speak anyway. Protect the people who speak, y'all. Even when they don't look like you, even when they got more privilege than you, even when you got that little voice saying, why is she getting praise and we don't? Squash that shit. Squash that voice, y'all, because the enemy ain't Miss Rachel. The enemy ain't Nancy Grace. The enemy is the system that makes them, oh, my goodness. Look, remember, y'all, black boys deserve to grow up. Ain't a political statement. It's not. It's a human statement. And if that makes somebody mad, if that makes somebody unfollow, if that makes somebody send death threats to kids entertainer and a TV prosecutor, honey, then they already told you who they are. And believe them. Believe these people. Miss Rachel didn't leave her lane. Nancy Grace didn't leave her lane. They were just hopping, both of them held the same racist belief they do. That's what they was hoping. They was hoping both of them held the same racist belief they do. And they don't, okay? And neither do we. I need y'all to be out there, stay dangerous, stay loud, and don't you ever let them make you whisper the truth. You better say that truth out loud. Hell.